Hey Jacob, how are you this week?
Hey, pretty good. What are we
Good,
doing?
good. Ready
What are we
for
doing?
ready for a brand new podcast?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but I'm interested. I like some of the things we're going to talk about. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
I've been just really wanting to make a show about for creators more widely. If anybody listening probably came to us through our podcast and content, so they'll know we run podcast host or reality. We talk about podcasting, but we're so involved in kind of wider creator stuff. Like our blog is actually more popular than our podcast. Ironically, like quite a long shot. Blog about podcasting. We do YouTube. We do all sorts of different stuff. So I'd love to get more into creator stuff. So that's why I got you
Yeah,
along.
cool. Love it. Yeah.
And the principle is the nuts and bolts behind being a creator. So we do plenty of creating. We could talk about that, but actually the thing that kind of I think our big strength is how you run creator business, from the tools that you use to actually run the business, to the frameworks and the mindset behind actually making it work, to make it productive, to make it consistent, through to the business models and how creators actually make money out of it. So
Mhm.
that's the principle, I think. That sound good?
Cool. Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about there.
Sweet. So we're going to make it nice and rapid fire, bring a few ideas every week and fire through them. So should we jump into them? Let's go for tools of the week first. What have you got? What's your kind of tool or thing you want to talk through first?
um, First thing I think. So I just upgraded my iPhone. I had an
Oh, okay.
iPhone that was, I don't know. I had like an 11. We're on like 15 now or something like that. So I was getting on a bit. And so I got the new one, and the camera on it's fantastic. I took it out for some like
Oh,
low light sort of photography out by the beach.
yeah.
Managed to get a picture of a lizard in the sand. It was so cool. Um, so like I was already kind of impressed, but Apple did an event in I think a little bit later in October, where they
Love it.
released a new Max, and I watched the
So
event.
very good.
Yeah,
So,
and I watched the event, and it was like any other event. There was nothing to suggest the fact that they had recorded the entire thing with iPhone 15 Pros.
oh, really?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole thing. So every camera. Now, don't get me wrong. They had crazy fancy equipment. They had
Yeah.
dollies and they had really good lighting and they had obviously professional videographers and all that kind of stuff. But the lens being used was an iPhone, and I just thought that
Really.
was insane because the whole thing was like low light, sort of really kind of cool lighting, but there was also the usual sort of like lifestyle ad spot type stuff that they do where
Yeah.
it's family on the couch enjoying their Apple products.
Fantastic.
And all of that was done with iPhone. So I thought that honestly, my
That's super
question
cool.
is, yeah, we've got a video here
Yeah.
that we can watch and
Let's
see
have a
it.
look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I've not seen this yet. So yeah, you pointed out this morning. So let's have a look. All right. Typical Apple. Yeah, that's smart.
Why would you buy a DSLR? Like,
Yeah.
so it's recording or whatever. You know, it's recording 4K 60 frames per second, and you're getting
Yeah.
raw files out the other end that you can do proper color grading on.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
and
that's
and and it's a phone at the same time.
yeah.
By the way, you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
you
It
can call your
does all
mom.
your other stuff. It's a computer. Like it's your. That's the bit that almost jumped out to me there was the fact that you can connect it to external storage and stuff. So they're treating
Yeah,
it as it's a computer, isn't it? It's like a
yeah.
device that you're suddenly using to process the stuff, put it out on storage. You're
Hmm.
capturing it through that thing as well. It's
The
nuts.
same cable that I use to plug
Yeah.
my MacBook into my monitor, I can plug into my iPhone
Yeah.
and have it go up on display. Like no hassle.
Really?
It
Yeah.
just works. It's crazy.
So you can use that because I remember that came out not that long ago. A way to use your iPhone as a webcam. So is
Yeah,
that just super easy now? I've not actually ever tried it.
yeah. To be honest, the most difficult thing is like where do I put the iPhone? You know, you need to get like a
Who
tripod or
can
something.
mount it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, no, it just comes up as a webcam option if you've got your iPhone connected to the same Wi-Fi network.
Really?
I think it's Wi-Fi. It might be Bluetooth. I'm not sure.
Oh,
But
really? So
yeah,
you do
it's
use
super
cable?
easy. Yeah, no cable.
That's good. I bought.
Yeah.
I got a better webcam recently. You know this. I bought the what's it called again? The Insta360 webcam. It's a little kind of gimbally one, so you can move it around, but mainly because it was just really good quality. It's like one of the best quality traditional webcams out there. And that did make a difference. Like the fact that I could use that to then record like quite good quality video very quickly for screen shares or for demos or whatever, or even for YouTube videos. But this is like the iPhone camera is way better than that. Yeah. And if it's that simple and everyone's got it, like this blooming thing cost me £300. A lot. Like extra.
And it does not call your mum.
No, it does not. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah,
I'm impressed.
No one needs a DSLR. Is it like last thing on it maybe? Is it going to kill a lot of other products? The fact that it's just become easier and easier to use for just better.
I mean, it's going to get better and better as well. It's the thing. Like, and don't like it is on the it's the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the Max specifically, the bigger one. It has a physical zoom on it, which is kind of crazy alone for a smartphone, right? So it is the most expensive in the line, but still, I think it's like £1,200, which is what you would probably pay for a decent DSLR anyway. And people are already paying $1,000 for an iPhone. You know, it's something that actually there's a good chance it's just in your pocket, and it can make this quality content. And not to say the 15 Pro, not the Max, isn't very good, because it is. I've got one, really impressed. Yeah, just the same.
That's cool. Okay, anything else on that?
No. No. Other than I'm gonna have to try and record some cool video with it. See what happens.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, relates to my one that I want to bring. Someone I've been playing around with a lot is a video editing app. We have always been kind of an Adobe house, I suppose. Like we use Adobe for a lot of stuff. Matthew does a lot of his complex editing. He does an Audition. I use Premiere for a lot of YouTube stuff. But recently I got hold of an app called Filmora from Wondershire. I was just playing around with ways to make it quicker and easier to get like decent YouTube video out there. My requirements were I wanted to see quicker and easier color grading, effects, transitions. The trouble with Premiere has always been for me that you have to bring in plugins for just about anything modern. Like, and you know what the transitions are like. You know the text effects, like the lower thirds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're so old-fashioned.
Yeah. It's really out of the early 2000s, and it just hasn't changed.
Yeah. So it's very good for basic editing, for like proper editing, but just for that kind of quick effects and stuff like that, just nonsense. Yeah. So Filmora, I discovered, was great for this. It's got inbuilt stock library for both music and video, so you can create those kind of cutaways, that B-roll really easily. It's got transcription built in. It's got a load of really good effects, and you can kind of build on that too. You have to pay a wee bit more for the extra effects, but the built-in ones actually that you get basic subscription are really good. And so, I've just been playing around that a lot actually.
How much does it cost?
It's only, now, what is it again? It's $69 a month for $69 a year for the normal app, or a $99 one-off purchase.
A $99, wow, that's something you do not get with Adobe anymore.
And I mean, it's Adobe a month these days.
It's like $40 odd bucks.
$40 per month.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's definitely a difference in quality in terms of just slickness of interface, responsiveness, speed, power, all that kind of stuff. Like, if you just want pure, fast editing, like accuracy, all that kind of stuff, like you can't beat Premiere. But this works really nicely.
For most people. The thing with Premiere though is it's meant for like professional, almost like cinema professionals, and it's being used by people who are just trying to make some fancy YouTube videos. It's not the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's bloody terrifying the first time you look at it. Like, it's just the interface is so complex. And finding all the elements, like the basic stuff is mixed in with all the completely complex stuff. So it's hard to use. So.
Have you tried? I'm just looking at their landing page. Have you tried their AI Copilot editing?
I have not. No. Actually, do you know? Sorry, go on.
It looks like what it does is you essentially type in. So, like the example here is help me lighten the video, and it will sort of, I don't know, apply some grading automatically. But they're putting in some like quite complex commands, and it seems to just be doing it. So that's quite interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to have a play with that then. Yeah,
Report back.
yeah. I mean, maybe just I kind of a vote for, or the reasoning behind why I started looking at it was because I want my son to start doing a bit more video editing. Well, he was wanting to do more video editing, and I was trying to figure out how to help him get into it. I had
Yeah.
no appetite for teaching him Premiere, nor paying the license, to be fair. And this seemed like a good one, so I bought it really for him, and now I'm using it for a ton of our YouTube stuff.
Yeah, nice, cool.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
What we got? So my my second thing was I am as you'll probably find out quite quickly by listening to me a bit of an AI junkie. So I like trying as much as I can. The most recent thing I tried was DALL-E 3, which is just built into the ChatGPT Pro subscription now. They've got everything in one sort of thing. You can upload images, you can upload CSVs, and it can generate images for you. I will maybe need to edit it in some of the examples that I got, but I got it to. So I pasted in the link to Podcraft with you and Matthew, and said, make me some podcast artwork for this podcast, and I gave it a really, really short description. I basically said, Colin doesn't have any hair and Matthew has a beard, and it came out with like actually something really good. The key thing here is that the text was actually legible. Now, it made one mistake. Yeah. There was one like half a letter in between the D in pod and the C in craft, and I said get rid of that, and it regenerated it and turned it into something else. So like I don't think it's actually feasible yet to be used for that kind of thing. But my question is, sorry, go on.
I was going to say the little tweaks. That's what I've always found a struggle with. You get something that is almost great, and you're like, oh, if I could just change that little thing. Going, can you tell it? Like you say, it never recreates the previous version somehow. No. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get there quite quickly, because that's something that Midjourney have already mastered. That
a lot better, really.
I think they're not doing as well on text. I don't know. Actually, I need to go and have a look at their latest updates. But one of the things they were focusing on was being able to sort of paint a region that you wanted changed. And I thought that was actually really, really smart. So yeah, I think it's all going to come together. But I think where we are right now, my question is iStock going out the window faster than anything else? I don't think designers are in any sort of peril at the moment. But stock photography, I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you can get really good photography now, can't you? Just like create a photo of this. It's so hard, isn't it? Like, because that has all been trained on iStock stock photography, or it's tough. But yeah, I can't see any other thing that could happen. I mean, will people still see value in a human touch on photography? Mm-hmm. Like sorry, go on.
Like I think there's a place for like sort of bespoke photography always.
Yep.
But for the purpose of iStock and general stock photography, other stock services are available. There's not necessarily a whole lot of soul in that photography anyway.
Absolutely, it's always generic by definition, really. Isn't
it? So.
Yeah, that's sad. It's interesting. Yeah, because it's absolutely right. Like, you will need photographers are not going anywhere anytime soon, because we need photos of real things and real people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is there any point in that a human aspect of a generic stock photo?
Well, we're going to need more sort of base materials to generate off. So. We can't let the stock photographers die altogether. Otherwise, we'll never get anything new.
Maybe that's the difference. Maybe the AI platforms will just start paying like a team of photographers to go and create more stock photography to train the model to make it better.
Honestly, that actually sounds probable. Yeah,
feasible. Yeah, it's cool. I just love the fact that DALL-E 3 is now built to ChatGPT as well. So when you're creating stuff there. The other day, actually, I had a data set. It was custom feedback from Hility, actually. So Alitu is our podcast maker app. We ask for feedback on people when they join up. And so we have detail around like different types of podcasts, purpose of podcasters, why they sign up, what their goals are in their podcast, all that kind of stuff. And I just fired that CSV into ChatGPT, totally sanitized of any identifying information, just to be clear. Not that it has any in it, anyway, actually. But I said, like, what can we do with this? And it just said, all right, okay, here's the different aspects. Here's a few graphs, and it popped out the graphs, showed me all them. I asked for some tweaks, did some angles on it, like what ones with this purpose actually had this category, and it gave me all that analysis.
Did
but
the
it gave me
graphs
the
come
graphs
out
at the same time
to scale with like correct labeling and stuff?
They were decent, yeah. Like I maybe would have made some tweaks, but they were totally adequate for our purposes. Yeah, totally.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, no, they were good. Yeah, so it's really good. But you're right, with like the podcast artwork example as well, being able to just sort of say, I'm planning my pod, here's help me come up with titles, help me come up with a description. Now that you know all this, can you make me some artwork based on that? Yeah. All in one place. Indeed. All right. Okay. The other one I was going to talk about actually was something I've been playing around a lot with. Maybe it ties in even with your iPhone 15 recommendation, because iPhones are obviously great on the visuals now, as we saw in that video. Absolutely nuts there. But the thing they don't necessarily do very well is audio.
Yeah.
So you can capture your visuals, but really you need to grab that audio. And one device we played around a lot with, I use it for nearly every YouTube video I make these days, is the Rode Wireless Go. I feel a bit like a Rode fanboy sometimes, because I like so much Rode stuff in here, but it's because they just make good stuff.
Is that the little square one that sort of just pins on to anything?
That's it, exactly. Yeah. So you buy the set, you get two little squares. They're almost like like a tile that we find. I don't know if that's even more identified. It's a little square, maybe a couple of inches square, really thin, and it just clips onto your shirt. And the other one's the receiver, and that goes into the hot shoe at the top of your camera, or sellotape to the side of your iPhone or whatever, and then plugs into the bottom of the iPhone, or into your camera by a 3.5mm connector. So the way I normally use it is I plug it in via 3.5mm connector, so on DSLR, and I've got the transmitter on my shirt, and I just use that. And the really cool thing is it's got a mic built in, so you can use it on its own, and it's actually a decent quality mic. Like it's good, but it looks a bit funny. Have you seen that clipped to your shirts? Like
it does not look like a mic. Not really sure what it is when you look at it.
They look a bit weird. They're a bit obtrusive on their own.
Yeah,
just this because it's got lights on it and stuff as well, which is not necessarily ideal for filming. But you can plug in any 3.5mm lav mic. So I use it with a good little Rode lav mic. Plug it in, and then the transmitter goes in my pocket, cable up behind my t-shirt, and then it's stuck onto my lav mic is put onto my collar or something.
Nice.
Like that. Just speak away. And it's totally wireless, really good quality.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I've tried one. So I tried one by the good folks at Samsung, who make some really good kit.
Oh yeah.
But this portable mic that they had, I think it was a bit older. I can't remember the name of it now, but it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. It kept cutting out. It would like randomly cut out in the middle of recording, and then I don't know. I don't know if it was actually just the unit that we had that was quite old, or it was the thing itself.
We had. So to be fair to Samsung, I'm sure you're absolutely right. We've been a bit glitchy, but that unit, if you're talking about the one I'm thinking of, we got sent that. It's a literal prototype from Samsung.
Oh, really?
Sent before it was commercially available.
Probably the same one.
Yeah, totally. It's like almost a mount that you put your phone into, like it kind of holds onto your phone. Is that what
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So that was a really early one, but that was like before the Rode Wireless Go and stuff like that. That was 5-6 years ago. So, but there's a few cool ones.
Cool how far it's come on since then. Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
The thing that surprises me as a podcaster, particularly, but for any creator, is the lack of like the really low noise floor, lack of background noise, all that kind of stuff within this, because usually lav mics suffer from a bit of that. Like they're they're really susceptible to a bad room, to background noise, to just simple background hiss, like a noise floor in the mic itself. Because the preamps on the receiver often are not very good on a lav mic. The lav mic itself, because they're so small, like, it's hard to make a good quality one. Like a good lav mic can cost quite a lot.
Yeah.
But this is only, I think this one's only 60, 70 pounds for the external one that I got, which wasn't too bad. And even the wireless Go little unit itself, the internal mic, doesn't sound bad at all either.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How much is the wireless Go itself?
It's not the cheapest in the world. It's about, what's it, about 150, 200 pounds, I think, for the set.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can add on one, I think, actually, for not too much more. So you can get two, plus the receiver. So you can have two people on camera.
All to the same receiver?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So that's worth mentioning. We'll put some links to that in the show notes in the description. So yeah, pop over there and you will see them. Just look in your podcasting app of choice. You'll see the links in there.
Cool.
That's me. I had another one, but I'm going to save that for next time.
Okay.
I think that was enough time for that. So let's have a look at some creators. This is something I want to do, or would be cool to do every week, as long as we've got something to look at. Just look at a creator that's doing something great, something interesting, whether it's the tools they're using, whether it's the kind of frameworks they're following, whether it's some of their workflow, the way they create their videos, or their business model, even something like that. So who did you have, Jacob?
I had a lad on YouTube called Bald and Bankrupt. So he is primarily a YouTube creator. I don't actually think he does much on social at all. So this is the thing about him. He has 4 million subscribers. He does essentially no marketing, and he does essentially no editing.
Right. Okay.
His whole so this is his latest video. So just to give a quick idea of what he does, he goes to places where no one else really goes. He's not really a travel vlogger. He's more of I would call him more of a documentarian, to be honest with you. So what he did in this video was he went to South America and traveled the extremely perilous route which people are traveling to get to the southern border of the United States. He is hiding from the cartel. He's pretending to be Russian. Like, his life is in serious danger, and all along that journey they keep finding like dead bodies and all sorts of things. Like, it's super dangerous. So anyway, so he's known for traveling ex-Soviet countries and showing what it's really like. So that's really cool. But the thing with Bald, and the reason I'm bringing it up is I think I am very guilty of thinking of, right, how can we make better content? And I normally go to, let's make it higher production. Let's find the higher production value. Let's, I don't know, a better background, a better camera, a better this and a better that. But actually, you look at someone like Bald and like no marketing, essentially no editing. This is the most heavily edited video that I've ever seen him doing. That's because he has some flash in and out text. But like, essentially he just takes raw footage that, like, so what I'm getting at here is my takeaway from his success is it's not actually about the fact that he creates, it's about the fact that he does, and then he documents the doing. The whole way that he makes his content work is by doing something interesting, because like, he could go to these places and then sit in front of a camera and tell us all about it in lots of detail. And it could be the best storyteller in the world, but no one would watch it, because the thing that makes the content work is the fact that he's actually doing something interesting. So I think that a good thing to think about is that if you are, as I have, struggled with thinking of how can we make better content, like how can we compete with this thing that someone else is trying to teach or trying to show you, actually maybe you shouldn't be competing with it at all. Maybe you should find out, how can I do something completely different, like actually do something, not say something different, but do something different, document it and teach that way. Because like I say, he could sit down and tell us all about his experience in doing this, but nothing is actually more entertaining and more engaging than going and recording it. Show us exactly what it's like. Don't just tell us. We hear all the time about how treacherous this route is. He went to Afghanistan recently as well. We hear all about what life is like in Afghanistan, but actually he's just showing us he has tea with the Taliban. Like, I don't think you can really compete with but
Yeah.
doing and then showing rather than
Aye,
just
absolutely.
telling. I think it makes
It's
great
all about
content.
the actual topic, about the actual content, and see what he's really gone and done. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through. Like, this is a 22-minute video. I've just moved over to one that I train surfed in Bangladesh, and it just
Mhm.
looks like he has his phone probably on a gimbal type thingy. It's like
Oh, you've got a
nice and
selfie stick.
steady and stuff.
That's kind of
Is
it.
that all it is?
Yeah.
You're right, actually, yeah, because it's not. It's still a bit bumpy, so it's like quite rough. But
Yeah.
how many views has it got on this one?
It's just
One point
an
seven
action
million
cam
views.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that is
talking about?
nuts.
The sort of GoPro
That's
type
cool.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that idea. Yeah, that's so good. Like, it's just he just goes and does something really cool, talks about it while doing it, and that is all you need. You don't need to go in and suddenly over edit it and make it
Yeah.
super good. That's great. All right. Okay. Good mindset. The one I was going to talk about was a little bit different because he does put a lot of production into it. A guy called Ali Abdaal. I just came across him recently, but I think I'm very late. He's got 5 million subscribers. Very popular. He's a productivity guy, ex-doctor. Have you come across it before, Jacob?
No. First time.
Yeah, so he basically started recording videos while he was in medical school. Went to medical school at Cambridge. He's an English guy.
Okay.
And which is always cool to see. UK content producers coming up as well, because so many kind of the big ones are US based. And he's just developed a real kind of reputation for being a productivity expert because he managed to do his like medical studies, and then during his early years training to be a doctor, managed to do all sorts of other stuff as well, and just start talking about it. And people caught on. And there's a big thing around just his kind of approach to content, and he's quite informal. Like, he's often just kind of sitting, drinking a coffee and chatting to the camera. It's quite, it's a nice way that he goes about it. And he does put a lot of production into his video, to be fair. So, but that's not really what I wanted to mention. What I wanted to mention was that he actually, I like his business model behind the creator business. Really, it's kind of similar to, in a way, what we do, but at a much bigger scale. And he really just sells a couple of info products, and that's all it is, really. He's got one which is his productivity stuff. So he has a book which he does around productivity, Feel Good Productivity, by him. The subtitle, How to Do More of What Matters to You. So that's a big part of it. But I've heard him speak about the fact that even that isn't really that's not going to be his earner.
No.
Like, books are not earners, are they, supposedly?
Yeah.
So he's got that out almost as a reputation builder. And the business actually makes money out of teaching people how to do exactly what he does. So he runs a company or a product called the YouTuber Academy. In fact, it's called that. It's called the Part-Time YouTuber Academy, I think it was called. Part-Time YouTube Academy by him. And there's a few different levels to it. And this was the interesting part, I think, was the different levels to it, because they've got a kind of an intro one, which is kind of a boot camp course, really early stage, just pay under $100, I think it was. But then the next level up is the full academy, which includes quite a lot of community. And there's a range of courses in there, but a big part of it is actually just the fact that they do Q&As, and they do challenges, and they do a lot more kind of interaction with the audience. But that's about $1,000 to get into that level.
No.
And then the big income really from him, well, actually, no, I think from what I remember, that's maybe about half of their income is that one. But then they also have an accelerator, which costs about $5,000. And that's much more one-to-one type support and much more kind of feedback from him and his team as well. So it's a nice model. It's kind of almost old school and the old kind of info product funnel style.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I thought he's got a really nice approach to how he creates this content, but actually he's really smart behind the scenes as well about how he monetizes it, how he builds a business around it, offers value to his audience. So it's quite cool.
It's simple, and it might feel old, but it's not outdated. It works. It's essentially, I mean, you cannot go wrong with solving a problem for the people who are watching your free content, you know, in a more constructive way, in a more premium way, in a more helpful way. Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Is
And I
that
think,
is the academy a one time $900 Is that a one time cost, or is that like an annual thing?
yes, I believe so. I think the Academy, actually, well, I did a quick check. I think the Academy itself was just a one-off thing. No, one-time payment, yeah. Whoop. Yeah, the Academy itself is just a one-time payment. But I think the smart thing is, basically, he's doubled his income. Like he was on, have you come across Colin and Samir?
No.
So they are a pair who talk to creators. They do creator content, basically. And they interviewed him on one of their shows.
All right.
And the fact that his business now is about sort of 4 to 5 million a year.
Wow.
In pounds as well.
Yeah.
Usually we take like 30% off the numbers we hear because it's always in dollars.
Yeah.
But that's in pounds. And half of that is basically he doubled his business's income by introducing this kind of higher level tier, this really high level coaching, because half of the income for the whole business is that program. So if he was only offering the academy, the kind of mass offering, I suppose, it would only be making half the number. So it was committing to giving more support, more in-depth kind of involvement with his community, that really doubled the income of the business.
Yeah, it might seem like quite a scary thing to get into as well, though, because
Yeah,
it's a lot of like, I don't know, up until that point, everything probably feels fairly automated, sort
yeah,
of hands off. But then
yes,
that's like your personal time that you're promising to people, isn't it?
yeah. Much
But
more I can bring. Yeah, yeah,
clearly, quite worth it. And it's not
yeah.
like you don't have to resign your life away to doing that. You know, it depends on what your goals are, but you could do that for 2 or 3 years, and maybe that's enough for you.
Well, funny you say that, because he talked on that episode about the fact that they were going to cut that back.
Yeah.
So they run it for 2 or 3 years. They ran it the first year and it like really boosted their income. So they ran it for another couple of years. But he has said, I think basically the undertone is that, I mean, you've got a 4 million a year business that is sort of, was it 40, 50% profit margins? So he's banking like 2 million profit on the last couple of years. And he said in that interview, like, yeah, it's a big commitment. It was really fun, but he's kind of pulling that back to get back to just creating content, because basically because he's got enough money in the bank now to not have to do it.
Yeah. I think that's pretty understandable.
yeah. But I think it's worth noting though that he had to go through doing, well, he didn't have to, but that was one route to get to that stage of freedom, to go through that process of running that funnel for a couple of years at least.
Yeah.
And most of us are not in a position where we can kind of turn down that type of income. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's a really interesting case though. He seems really humble and honest and open and stuff. So he's an interesting follow.
For sure.
All right. Okay. Let's move on then. I want to finish up. Yeah, let's do a little. What did we rate last week, and what's coming up this week? Just a wee update on what we're actually doing as creators as well. I think that's worth doing every week. Although if you are genuinely out there listening, we'd love to hear some feedback on what parts of this you do like, and what parts you think could cut back or less interesting. So do get in touch and let us know. I'll put a contact method in the outro, so listen on to the end. You can find out how to get in touch. But yeah, what are you doing this week?
Well, we have been not so much creating, more migrating this week, for me at least. So a necessary evil in all creator businesses is the occasional need to migrate all of your emails somewhere. Actually, do you know what? It's not even necessary. We made a mistake, and I argued for said mistake, so I'm now paying the price. We moved to a really big and complicated email marketing platform called HubSpot. Loads of things in there. And I think there was a lot of assumptions of ways that we could use it. And like, long story short, really what we need for us, for what we want, for what makes us happy, for the size of our business, like, we don't need that. We don't want that. It doesn't actually help make any more money, and it certainly didn't bring us any joy. So we're moving back to a much simpler, much nimbler platform. We're moving to ConvertKit. So my past couple of weeks really have been moving everything back over to ConvertKit and also reviewing a lot of the email that we do along the way, which is always fun. Going through every email and just finding little things. So a lot of sort of like, I've had a notepad next to my desk basically for the past couple of weeks, just making notes on this is something that we should maybe think about changing. This is something that's maybe not working very well. This is absolute nonsense. I don't know where this came from. There's a few of those. But you know, I think whether you're migrating or not, actually sometimes if you are if you've got a lot of sort of automated email and stuff going out, I think it is good at least once a year, maybe a couple times a year, to just go through everything, keep a notepad by yourself and just ask yourself, like, does this still stand up? Does this still make sense? And have a look at the numbers as well and see, right, you know, this email in a sequence, is it worth sending? Is there something better that we could do with it? Is it, you know, something with that real estate? So yeah, that's been me. It's not been the most fun job, but it is necessary and it will be worth it. So
do you always find it satisfying having this kind of clear out and a kind of sense of what's there and that it will be right?
Yes, yeah. I really enjoy the thinking about what the final. I was going to say final solution. That's not good. Think about what the final vision looks like, and getting there. That brings me lots of satisfaction. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I think for the record as well, like it was worth trying HubSpot.
Yeah,
and we got a bit out of it. We learned from it, and there was like I popped this out on LinkedIn actually and got quite a bit of feedback on it. Like the feeling that as you're growing a company, whether it's a creator company or any kind of company, like you feel this need to grow. You feel this need to professionalize. You feel this need to grow up over time, and there's like a kind of peer pressure almost. Maybe this is just me. I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but I got enough feedback on this post that I put out that I think it does go through a lot of other people's heads. We felt like we needed to do that because we're leaving something on the table by not going up to the big boy tools or whatever you want to call them. So there's that pressure to do it. I think that was part of why we did it. Part was why you used it in the past with a bigger company, so you had that experience. But I think we probably would have always been wondering if we would get a better result from something more expensive or more. Yeah. But I think, it was worth the test and it was worth moving back in the end. And we did the price went up we got a good discount, didn't we, to test it out? So it was like $500 a month. And the price was going to go up to $1,600 a month just for email marketing after our intro thing. And so it was just that.
It was probably worth the price that we were paying.
The 500
discounted rate. Yeah. But even then, it was too much tool. So it
was still almost getting in the way of us sometimes, wasn't it? There's so much in there.
Yeah. Like I spent a lot of time in it and I have a lot of history with it. It's changed a lot, but I was probably like 80% comfortable with everything that it did. But the problem was, if you have other people working in the business, you're then holding other people up. You know, and they're having to come to you, and
ended up holding you up because you need to give them help to actually onboard stuff or just do things for them sometimes.
I think one thing that I won't forget from the experience is asking myself, what is the most simple tool possible that we could like scrape by with in doing this? And it's not even like ConvertKit's that we won't be scraping by with it at all.
No, it's a good tool.
The minimum features for what your actual real needs are, like right now, not just like what could you do with it, what are you going to do with it is really is the question.
Let's come back and talk about what we've actually done with ConvertKit in a future one, because I think actually it is a really good tool for us for what we need it for. So it'll be good.
For sure.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Let's come back to that. I'm enjoying putting together the funnels, doing a bunch of writing for emails and stuff like that. And it's been good the last week or so for that. I think the other creating I've been doing a bit of blogging for the first time in a wee while. Actually, I got in and edited our How to Start a Podcast post, which is one of our kind of pillar articles, one that direct a lot of people to, brings in a good bit of traffic for our site. That was good fun just thinking about the structure of that. That's something we do a lot here, which is refreshing our content, because we've got nearly 1,000 blog posts on that site now. And there's always more things we could write about, but actually there's always the core 50, 100 questions in any industry that really go beyond that. You're going into the deep long tail.
Yeah.
So like refreshing our existing kind of pillar posts is always a big activity. We're working on that constantly. Yeah. So the how to start one was an interesting one, just thinking about structure, because it's a big one as well. So just thinking about how to draw people through the post, make it more easy to navigate, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I get really into that actually. Yeah,
we're nearly 1-to-1 on refreshes and new content, aren't we?
Yeah. Maybe even more actually. Sometimes like more refreshes than new stuff. Actually, Matthew and I often talk about that. Like he'll take like a month to half a cycle to just kind of concentrate almost like 2/3 on refreshes and just a few new ones himself.
Yeah.
So I think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a numbers game, really, essentially, isn't it? You know, if there's more that we can squeeze out, or if we've slipped a bit in performance because it's a little bit older, or it's new people competing, it's worth it. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. And the other thing was finishing up Podcraft a week before our latest season as well. So that was good fun.
Yeah,
I'll need to think about the next season now.
Yeah, this is the first one that you did in video, isn't it?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We kind of pulled that back actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's an interesting one actually, because it's and this is like no negative on Matthew, but Matthew just hates doing video.
Yeah.
But a lot of podcasters do. So it's like it's a real thing whereby a lot of podcasters could potentially do more to kind of get their content repurposed by recording video at the same time, turn it into clips, highlights, whatever. But actually, it makes recording a lot harder for a lot of people. The repurposing is actually really time consuming in a lot of cases. And for some people, it makes them worse at the actual audio recording. Like Matthew says this, and I kind of notice it as well. Like he feels more stilted. He feels more kind of nervous on camera. He feels more all those things, which actually make the quality of the audio program worse.
Yeah.
In favor of creating a kind of average, because recorded face video, a full episode of, is not like the best way to make a video anyway. So it's like it's kind of making a decent enough bit of content, and degrading your great bit of content. So
the same for him when you're not recording video, because I find being able to see a face and facial cues, like I always worry about talking over people in audio, because I do. And I like being able to see a face. It's just a lot easier.
We always look at each other. We always have the feed going. But it's just cool. I know it's I've talked to him about this. I've tried to, because it's, if we could work through that, it would be worthwhile. But it's something just psychological to notice when he's being recorded on video. It's just it's a thing. It's just
it is for a lot of people. I know a lot of people are the same.
But that was partly why we want to do this as well. Like another way to create some good video and maybe bring in some more other media and other things to look at. So Alrighty, let's tie things up then. Just a quick last one on what we are making this week then, our future plans. I think that's always worthwhile finishing up on. And really, at the moment, I am creating courses, so we're working on our community just now. So I'm working on a few different educational things, bringing in our courses and our community into Mighty Networks. It'd be worth reporting back on how we're finding that platform maybe next time round. And that process. But the big thing this week is this, this podcast.
Exactly.
How are you finding it so far? Or
good.
How are you thinking about it ahead of time?
Do you know what? Good. So once I'm in here and sort of talking, fine. The hour or two leading up to it, it's the horrible heart in your stomach kind of thing. Because like I'm not a seasoned either podcaster really, or being on video at all. So definitely still relatively new to me, and definitely felt very nervous. Didn't really know, wasn't confident in what exactly I was going to talk about. So I'm like over created notes. But I'm glad we did it, because now it's all good, and I've had a great time. I think it's been good. So
good. Glad. Okay, cool. Yeah, same for me. Definitely an experiment. Again, I'll call for some feedback if you're out there listening. If you do manage to find this first episode, please let us know what you think. Again, I'll pop a wee contact method in the very end. So if you just listen on another couple of minutes, because we're just tying up now, you'll figure out how to get in touch and let's get some feedback. The most basic way, actually, let's just say that now, is Twitter. If you get in touch at the podcast host, and that's the podcast host on Twitter or X, whatever it is, x.com. Sorry, I need to do that now. X.com. While it's still alive. Get feedback there. Equally on LinkedIn, you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'm more active there actually on social these days. What's your social of choice these days, Jacob?
Oh, I enjoy the slowly.
Are you still on X watching
watching
the descent?
No, there's still. I don't know. I think it's still full of interesting people with interesting things to share, and doing. Like it's still everything that Twitter was, but I think that there's other parts of it that are like the bot situation, which Elon Musk was very intent on solving. It's just gotten worse, in my opinion. I don't know. There's good and there's bad.
Well, okay. Twitter then, at the podcast host, you'll find us there. Or LinkedIn, you'll find me if you just search Colin Gray podcast, generally pops up. But the final thing, it's just names, isn't it, Jacob? We've not got a name for this thing.
Yeah, we don't at all.
The usual ultimate barrier to getting any kind of content out there is thinking up what the hell you can call it.
The solution is just record it and don't think about it.
Exactly. And then maybe it'll emerge during recording.
Yeah.
I have two ideas in my head. So tell me what you think of these. And listener, if you're out there, you might already know which one we choose here, because I'm going to try and record an intro after we record this, which will have the name in it. Although I have released podcasts in the past with no intro and no name, and only done like 3 episodes in. Because I think again, if you're a creator, like these kind of things can be genuine barriers. But it's better just to get it out there and just start. But the two I had in my head were creator chemistry and creative business blueprint. And I'm not totally in love with either. But the kind of principle behind the creator chemistry was like chemistry being the kind of science behind it. Like I've got something in my head around this being like the science behind the creator business, because we want to dig into the tools, the frameworks, the mindset, all that kind of stuff.
Do you think that makes us sound too much like we know what we're doing though?
Creator chemistry, how so? Tell me.
Well, I think we're science is trying things and basically figuring out if they work, I guess. I don't know. It feels really serious. It feels, like I say, it makes it sound like we know what we're doing, and I think that's a lie. Okay. I don't think we do.
There's too much of a science to it. That we're claiming there's a formula to, follow our formula, and you will get 100,000 new listeners next week.
That's that's the thing.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And then even Creative Business Blueprint has that kind of feel to it as well. And also, it's not just, I don't want to make it just about the business either. I do want it about like mindset and I don't know. I always feel one of the biggest barriers to creators that we come across, like to podcasters in particular, creators at large, is consistency. And that's nothing to do with the business. It's all about workflow and mindset. And then amongst all of that, you get productivity, you get the tools you use for it, you get all of this stuff. So like that's stuff that, I don't know, I get really into. I get really geeky about all of that stuff. And I think it's something that we have developed genuine expertise around. I think proved by the fact that we've got 1,000 blog posts out there that we have written and put out all the time. We've got podcasts that we put on a regular basis. YouTube's kind of fallen off the wagon recently, but there's been, when we've deliberately done it regularly, we have stuck to it regularly. Like, I know how to do that. I know how to be consistent.
Yeah.
So there's something about that. I don't know. Is there any thoughts then on names that are more related to that?
Well, no, I tell you what, I quite like, because like basically half of this has been about what, or at least some of it's about what we were doing and what we were figuring out. So it's like, I don't know, something around like figure it out as we figure it out. That's not a name, obviously, but like, I don't know, figuring out creating, or like, I don't know, something that's a little bit more like, I don't know, think there's a lot of content out there promising to solve everyone's problems.
Yeah.
And maybe a way to be different is to admit that we probably don't have the answer, but we will share what we know. Because we do have all this experience, and like we have done things. Look at all of our cool things that we've done. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't have a good suggestion right now, but I will think.
No, cool. It's hard to come up with a good name on the spot, so that's cool. We'll come up with it afterwards. But yeah, I like that. It's something around. It's a classic podcasting format. Like, first episode. So I want to start a business. I've no idea how it works, but follow along as I figure it out, and probably fall on my face 100 times during the journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, something like that. But we can share the things we can have figured out over the years that do work, and a lot of the things that we've figured out that don't work as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sure.
All right. I'll do it then. That's the podcast. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for listening as well, if you have listened.
Thank you all.
At the podcast host on Twitter or X, or find us on LinkedIn, Colin Gray, the podcast guy, I guess. Just search Colin Gray Podcast. You'll find me there. Perfect.
Cool.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you very much, mate.